Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Bartercard Odsal for this FRTV live Betfred Championship 2025 playoff between the Bradford Bulls and your Featherstone Rovers. It's me, JAFFA, taking you through the full 80 minutes tonight here from Odsal. Actually a little bit warmer than it was in the league on Sunday. Friday night under the lights here at Odsal, and Featherstone Rovers starting their playoff adventure for 2025 against the Bradford Bulls. A bit of a change to both teams actually since the game on Sunday, and we'll have a quick run through the teams right now. The Bradford Bulls line up as follows. At fullback is number 26 Luke Hooley. On the wings for Bradford it's Jaden Ockenbaugh and George Tafua. In the centres, Waka Blake returns for Brian Noble's men, and Kieran Gill jumps into the centre this evening. At the halves for Bradford is Tom Holmes and James Meadows, and the props, the starting props, number 8 Michael Lawrence wants another name coming back into the team. Eben Skur, the ever-present for Bradford, on the other as the other prop, and Jordan Lilly starting at hooker this evening. Second rowers for Bradford is number 11 Zach Fulton and number 12 Matty G, and again another ever-present for Bradford at loose forward Sam Hallas, having signed a new deal here at Bradford this week. Interchange bench for Bradford is number 14 Mitch Shooter, number 22 Elliot Paposhi, who had a great game against Featherstone on Sunday. Also returning to the interchange bench this evening, number 34 Chris Hill, the veteran prop, is in the Bradford team this evening, and another ex-Salford player from this year, Zane Musgrove, for the Bradford Bulls. That's how they line up this evening then here at Odsal on FRTV. Featherstone Rovers though line up as follows. A few eyes raised, shall we say, with some of the selections in the team today, and only time will tell if Paul Cook and his coaching staff have got this right tonight, or is it just the amount of players that he can get out on the field? Who knows? Only time will tell. But here we go. This is our Featherstone Rovers lineup today. At fullback, number 1 in his regular position, Caleb Akins. On the wings, Connor Wynn, making his 100th career appearance today here at Bradford in this playoff game, and Daryl Alforts on the left wing. In the centres, Gareth Gale and Josh Hardcastle coming through that HIA from last week, passing all the medical to play this evening, so he's in the centre this evening. The halves for Rovers, this is where people are looking around and saying, what's this? But James Glover, number 29, and number 24 Bailey O'Connor are named in the halves for Rovers. Is that a master stroke? We will find out and see. The props for Rovers, starting props, Gadwin Springer and Jimmy Beckett, and Danny Addy starts at hooker for Rovers this evening. The second rowers are number 11 Brad Day and number 17 Clay Webb, and the loose forward number 37 Nathan Wild. Blood to water does Nathan, and he's in the team this evening should I say, at loose forward. The interchange bench, it's a big bench for Rovers. Sisaleki Akawula, Robson Stevens, King Vuniyawa and Jordan Williams lines up on the bench. Rovers' 18th man this evening is Connor Barley. As you can see, quite a few changes in there today, and I'm going to be by myself this evening on comms. Connor is enjoying himself on holiday, so hope you have a good time, Connor, if you are listening in this evening to FRTV Live. It's me, JAFFA, Playoff Rugby for 2025. I met up with Cookie yesterday for a quick interview pre-match, and it was before the training session last night. Some of the players who he thought may not pull through did pull through, hence the team selection this evening. It's going to be a big one here at Bradford. Bradford Bulls, going into this one as favourites, of course, finishing third in the Betfred Championship this year, and the Rovers in 6th after the scores on Sunday. Hopefully we'll get a nice welcome here in the Bradford with the Bradford fans today. Had a couple of funny looks on Sunday, but I'm sure today all is well, and we come in peace. Simple as that. Lots of people listening in the clubhouse down at Featherstone Rovers tonight. They've chosen to stay and watch the game from the clubhouse. So a very good evening to you guys as well. If you are listening into FRTV commentary this evening with me, Jaffa. The scene's set. As I say, better weather conditions than it was on Sunday, of course. The wind and the rain on Sunday wasn't great, whereas today it's not looking bad at all. It's around about the 17 degrees mark, it's saying here on my phone right now. And 17 degrees and very calm for Odsal. I'm not shivering like I was on Sunday, put it that way. So all the pyrotechnics are getting set up, ready to go here. They do like to do things with a bang here at Bartercard Odsal in 2025. So the PA announcer's already been talking about what's going to happen before the game and getting the fans all revved up and ready to go here this evening for the big playoff game. First playoff rugby of 2025. Bradford Bulls against Featherstone Rovers, of course, the other game. And the playoffs this evening over at Oldham. Oldham against Halifax as well. That's going on this evening too. Like I say, lots of changes. I did have a chat with Cookie just at the side of the field before I came up to the comms and asked when was the last time Bailey O'Connor played halfback, and his answer to me was, let's see. So let's see what he's got up his sleeve. He's clearly got something up his sleeve this evening as our coaching team. The doors are shut, if you know Odsal, where the players come out. The doors are shut, the Bull logo is there, and let's see. The pyrotechnics, I'm sure, will be going off in a moment, and I'll jump out my skin like I did on Sunday. The flags are waving on the field, and we're in for a big game of rugby league. Today's match official, Scott Michalauskas. He's taking charge of this Betfred Championship Playoff match this evening. Interesting as well, Connor Wynn, congratulations to him on his 100th career appearance here for Featherstone Rovers, and he was presented with his shirt before the game this evening in the changing rooms with his shirt, which says congratulations on 100 career appearances. The fireworks are going. Here we go for a big championship night under the lights here at Odsal. It's going to be fun. You can probably hear in the background fireworks galore, the smoke everywhere, the flames are flying. Rovers back in their traditional blue and white shirt today with the heritage shirt for 2025 with a nod to the Rovers mining heritage and the Featherstone mining heritage. That is the shirt that they don today as the teams line up, like I say, in the smoke here at Odsal this evening under the lights. I'm looking forward to this big game. It feels like a big game atmosphere. Who will be up for it the most? That's what it comes down to, I think, today. Who wants this game the most? And the Bradford team lining up, as well as the Featherstone Rovers team lining up. The referee receives the ball from the little van that comes onto the field. And it looks like we're getting ready to start playoff rugby league for 2025. FRTV Live with me, Jaffa. They've only got me tonight. We've not got anyone else on comms, so you've got my dulcet tones throughout the game. Rovers look like they're going to be kicking off. I'm in the stand opposite the terrace today, so when I look at the field, Rovers playing from right to left. Big game then here in the Betfred Championship. Featherstone Rovers to kick off to the Bradford Bulls. The game is just about to get underway. Rovers putting the ball on the kicking tee, ready to go. Gadwin Springer looks up for it. Danny Addy, I think it is, who's lining up the kickoff. Puts his... No, the ball's fallen off the tee. There we go. Bradford Bulls, big, strong team tonight. They rested a few on Sunday, ready for today. Let's see if that pays dividends. Here we go then. We're underway. Featherstone Rovers kick to the Bradford Bulls. Danny Addy gets the game underway. Big first run then into the Rovers defence by Bradford. Rovers met very well. Tackle 2, once again met very well. But as we know, this field's very small here at Bradford, so I'm sure they will make the way up the field. They go over the 30, nearly into the 40 on tackle 3. Referee yelling back as Lawrence takes in the ball for Bradford. Met well by 4 Rovers defenders. Lily, a little chip from dummy half there, and met well by Gadwin Springer, the Bradford player, on the attack. The referee has his arm in the air. It's the last tackle. Good first set for Rovers. Now can they do it with the ball? The ball's up in the air. Caleb Akins underneath it, safe as houses, and Connor Wynn. A little tip off to Connor Wynn, whose dancing feet gets Rovers to the 20-metre line, just short. Plays the ball, and Daryl Alforts is now on the ball, coming in off his wing, bounces from Wacker Blake, and starts charging forward, good meters after contact. Here comes Josh Hardcastle in the team after passing that HIA protocols in the week. Great to see Josh back out on the field this evening. Addy tips the ball to Wild, it goes direct straight down the middle, but once again met by Bradford. Caleb Akins brings the ball forward on the last. Referee's hand in the air, it's the last tackle. Rovers just inside the half. Glover puts his foot through the ball, and Rovers taken well there by Ockenbaugh, but Rovers get the do the business in defence. Set for set in this first couple of moments here today, and of course it's going to be like that, I think. Very nervy first couple of sets for both teams, but completed, which both coaches will be happy with that this evening. Looks a decent attendance here this evening. Looks quite a few around and about the Odsal Stadium. Bradford send the ball out to the right. Hallis takes it down the middle. Good tackle though by Rovers. Here comes Lawrence, sending down the big guns down the middle, but met well once again by Rovers. And Bradford made about 30 metres in that set, but it's the last. And the ball gets put in the air by Meadows. And great take there by Daryl Alforts, beating Wacker Blake to the ball. There's somebody the size of Wacker Blake. Well done to Daryl Alforts for getting up and beating him to that. Rovers then bring the ball forward with Josh Hardcastle. Here comes big Gadwin Springer. Jordan Lilly dives at his legs, but Gadwin fends him off. Gets out to the 30-metre line. Looks for a quick play the ball. Danny Addy tips the ball on to Connor Wynn, who gets Rovers to halfway. Good meters once again after contact. He's got to hold that ball though. He holds it well as the Bradford player trying to push him off the ball. Comes out to the left-hand side. Jimmy Beckett, great pass. Caleb Akins, nice tip-off on the inside to Clay Webb, who gets into the Bradford half. It's the last. It looks like it's coming to Glover once again. Glover puts his foot through the ball. And taken well at the back by Hooley for Bradford. Hooley then brings the ball forward. Once again, another completed set by both teams. Who's going to be the first to crack this evening? Wacker Blake with a dummy. Daryl Alforts falls for it, and Wacker Blake through, but Caleb Akins comes across, and a great tackle by Caleb Akins there. Wacker Blake, great dummy, and breaks through the line. Rovers scrambled a little bit in defence then. Met by Glover and Beckett in the tackle. Bradford 20 away from the Rovers line, then taking the ball down the left, then a little tip off on the inside, bringing it back underneath the posts, 20 metres out. Here comes Lawrence. Nice pass, but well met again by James Glover. Tackling well, playing in the halves this evening. Come short side to Bradford, take it direct on the last, but Rovers keep them out by Rovers. But once again, decent attack by Bradford on the right. Put Rovers into a corner. So Rovers now will have to bring the ball out with Daryl Alforts. Great run. Oh, and the referee gives the first penalty of the game. Michael Lawrence, I think he says, has his hand on the ball and pulls the ball out. So Featherstone Rovers get a very relieving penalty there just 5 meters away from their own line. And let's see who's kicking this to touch. I think it's Danny Addy. Captain Danny Addy looks like he's got the kicking duties this evening. Kicks the ball and makes a good 25 meters or so here on this Odsal field. Josh Hardcastle takes the second phase and drives the ball straight in. Straight and direct by Josh. Once again, a very slow play the ball, but Wild now comes up the middle, but met well by Scrur for Bradford, who puts him straight onto his back. Sorry, Hallas, that was for Bradford. Oh, it wasn't, it was Scrur. Great offload on the inside, a little tip-off ball. Brad Day shoots through the line. He's got the one to beat, but the fullback, James Hooley, just catches his ankles. Rovers 10 out then from the Bradford line. Here comes Glover, tries a little dummy, darting round. He tries going for, oh, that's got to be high. The referee gives the penalty. Lawrence there basically takes his head off, man. Anyway, he gives the penalty. It's the right decision, and Rovers now look like they got a penalty just 2 or 3 meters away from the Bradford line, and Danny Addy shouts for the kicking tee straight away. So looks like Rovers, it is playoff rugby after all, and Rovers taking the sensible option and going for the 2 points. About 10 meters away to the left of the posts. Danny Addy lining up the penalty conversion. Great, to me, I think that's the right decision. Like I say, I've got no one here to talk to this evening on comms, so you've just got my dulcet tones all the evening. But I think personally that's definitely the right decision by Danny Addy. Get that scoreboard ticking over, and Featherstone Rovers, with a bit of luck, after 8 minutes, will be taking the lead this evening through a penalty goal by Danny Addy. He's lining it up right now. Let's see if this goes over. Trying to be put off, of course, by the Bradford fans. Understandably, I suppose. But he puts his foot through the ball, goes straight between the uprights, and that is Featherstone Rovers taking a 2-0 lead here this evening at Bartercard Odsal. It's Featherstone Rovers 2, Bradford Bulls 0. I think it's the right option to take the penalty just to get that scoreboard ticking over. And, of course, it's just that psychological edge, isn't it? You never know, that 2 points could be crucial come the end of the game. So well done to Danny Addy, getting his name on that scoreboard. 8.5 minutes gone then. Good start by both teams. You can tell it's pressure playoff rugby league. Here we go then. Hooley kicks off. Alfords takes the ball well on his shoulder and takes the ball straight to the line. He looked at first for the offload from Beckett, but it wasn't to be. Here comes Hardcastle now. Driving the ball out. Rovers 15 away from their own line. Cadwin Springer now on the charge. Knocks Lilly back, but the Bradford play around his ankles. Rovers going down the right side with Wild, who nearly breaks through the line again. Gets tackled on the 40 metres. Oh, he's still going. That's great rugby by Rovers. Danny Addy tries a little scoot, takes it right to the centre of the field on halfway. Caleb Aikins back this time. And that's a beautiful kick by Bailey O'Connor, spiralling in the Bradford night sky, but well taken at the back by Hooley. Rovers seem to have that they seem to be taking each set as it comes and putting the ball to the sky for a big chase, but a good drive down the middle there. This time by Ockenbaugh, taking the Rovers defenders backwards. I think that's Matty G taking the ball in. No, it's not. It's George Tafua, sorry. Here comes Wacker Blake on the angle. A little drop off by Meadows. Blake plays the ball. Bradford 30 out then from the Rovers line. Skur down the middle. Plays the ball going out to the left-hand side, where Bradford had a lot of luck, didn't they, on Sunday down that left edge with Tom Holmes in the halves, but getting tackled once again on the last play. Clear game plan by both teams. Rovers putting the ball in the air. Bradford taking the ball to the line and trying to turn Rovers over in a corner. So, looks like Gaz Gale brought the first ball in, and second drive was Connor Wynn. The back's going to have to do a lot of work today. It's not a wide field here at Odsal, so the backs do come in like forwards at times, just like this one. Daryl Alfort's down the middle once again. Some good yards by Rovers coming out of their own half. A nice tuck back on the inside by Gadwin Springer, but Gadwin loses the ball as the players come together. Nothing in that, I don't think, not from here anyway. Gadwin in contact, loses the ball. Big tackle by Michael Lawrence. And Bradford are going to be starting their set with a scrum right on halfway. FRTV Live with me, Jaffa. I've got Kian sat at the side of me ready for social media, work his fingers on the pulse, ready to go if we have another score in this game. Referee puts the time off and brings out Gadwin Springer, and I think it's either Hallas or Skur. I can't see which one it is, but he's having a word with them both, saying, come on lads, let's crack on. And playoff rugby is always a tough one, but they're says, let's get on with it, lads. Come on. Think about what you're doing, and we move on. Still, Bradford 0, Featherstone Rovers 2. That penalty conversion by Danny Addy. The only points of the game so far. 12 minutes gone. Bradford then feed the scrum on halfway. Here comes George Tafua. Met well by Rovers. Plays the ball. Here comes Lawrence now, down the middle. Looks like it's going left to Meadows. Meadows a little step. Gadwin Springer misses the tackle. You can't drop off a tackle like that, Gadwin. You've got to wrap him up. Bradford just over 20 metres out then from the Rovers line. Once again going down the middle, but met well by Brad Day, but an offload by Bradford. Gets the ball out the back. Ball out wide to Ockenbaugh, who looks like he's going into the corner. Bradford Bulls score the first try of the afternoon, of the evening, should I say. Good work down that right-hand side by Bradford. The big pass out wide, a little offload in the play the ball. Pass out wide, and Ockenbaugh just pinned his ears back and went down the edge, round the side of Daryl Alfort's, and scores in the corner. Dives into the corner and gets that board ticking over for Bradford this evening. Rovers doing really well up to now. It's 13 minutes gone, and that's the first time Bradford have looked like breaking the Rovers down, and it was a cheeky offload in the play the ball. So they took the try very well, though. Got to give them that one. So Bradford Bulls 4, Featherstone Rovers 2. We've got 26 minutes left of this half here at Odsal. It's me, Jaffa, FRTV Live 2025 Playoff Rugby League. So Jordan Lilly is the designated kicker this evening then for Bradford Bulls. Of course, Hooley took the tee on Sunday, but with Lilly back in the team, it's him who gets kicking responsibilities tonight. Kicks it well. It looks like it's going to be good. Good quick kick from the touchline by Jordan Lilly. Makes the score Bradford Bulls 6, Featherstone Rovers 2. kick from the touchline there by Jordan Lilly. So Bradford 6, Featherstone 2, and Rovers kick off once again. Danny Addy, nice deep kick off, taken well there by Hooley. And comes forward, Skur dives onto the ball and takes the ball forward. Pushes the Rovers defender away, the marker. Hallas now takes the ball forward for Bradford. Ever present, aren't they, all the time in this Bradford team. Rovers have got to be big in defence right now. Jordan Lilly slips as he tries a 40-20 kick. And the ball bobbles into the Rovers half, but Caleb Akins takes it well. He looks for the 40-20, the Lilly there, but he slipped as he kicked it, and it didn't get very far. Rovers offload to Hardcastle, who drives down the middle and gets to halfway. Rovers then on tackle 2 into the Bradford half already. As we know, very small field here at Bartercard Odsal. So you're just within a couple of sets you can be into the opposition half. And that's what's happened with Rovers now. Ball out wide, but Bradford, a loose pass. Danny Addy couldn't take the pass. A loose pass then sees Bradford regain possession on halfway. And Bradford come again through Gill down the left edge. 3 Rovers men in the tackle. Up to play the ball, comes out to the middle. Meadows, little dummy. Wacko Blake then comes in off his from his centre to take a drive in the middle of the field. Met well low by Brad Day once again, and Gadwin Springer. Lawrence looking like a halfback there, playing the ball. Great hands by Lawrence. Meadows taking charge down the middle low for Bradford. Gets the ball. Good work out the back for Bradford. Coming right down this right edge again. Glover falls off a tackle and Bradford get 2 meters away. It's the last tackle. Come down the right side, but he tries diving over from dummy half, but Rovers had that covered. But once again, Bradford turning over Featherstone Rovers in the corner and completing another set. They'll be wanting to be squeaky clean in this one. Rovers will be looking for an out. Here comes Daryl Alforts, but great defence by Bradford, pushing the Rovers back to a couple of metres away from their own line. Here comes Hardcastle, met well again by the big Bradford defenders, who put him onto his side. Connor Wynn looks to go out wide, and a little cheeky pass to Gaz Gale. I'm sure he was thinking, why did you give me that one there? Here comes Connor Wynn now on his 100th appearance. 100th career appearance. Got presented his shirt before the game. Very scrappy play the ball. And the referee gives a penalty once again to Rovers. Lawrence comes straight to the referee to say, what are you doing? And the referee, I've never ever seen a referee change his mind when it comes to that. So I don't know why he's moaning about that one. But he certainly is. It looked a very, very scrappy play the ball. So Rovers then making their first change on 19 minutes as King Vuniayua enters the fray for Gadwin Springer. Here he is, comes forward, drives the ball, great meters after contact, takes the ball to the halfway line. Danny Addy has his arms up in the air, trying to make a quicker play the ball. Wild then, down the middle. Ian only knows one direction. And I don't mean the band, I mean going forward. Plays the ball 40 metres out from the Bradford line. Caleb Akins into the line now. Little tip-off ball by Bailey O'Connor to Gaz Gale, coming back on the angles. Lots of angles by Rovers today. Coming back on the angle, taking Bradford on down the middle of the field. Coming out to the left side. Here's Clay Webb, but trips over his own feet and ends up on the floor 12 metres away on the last. Danny Addy, good pass to Glover. Glover, crossfield kick to the corner. Jumps up well. But Bradford deal with it better. Big defensive set now required by Rovers. Turned over in a corner. They've got some good field position, but can Bradford bring the ball out? First one to Fua. Then Ockenbaugh comes in for Bradford. Plays the ball 20 metres out. Here comes Skur. Well met once again by the Rovers defenders. Zach Fulton now on the ball. I think it's the first time I've seen him get the ball. He came very much into the game on Sunday in the second half. So, Meadows puts his foot through the ball. Caleb Akins is underneath it well. Slips again, but out he comes. And makes some good yards through the middle. So, take the ball to the middle of the field, and Rovers now bringing the ball back. Two teams going set for set again. Playoff Rugby League here at Odsal this evening. You can tell it feels like a playoff match. Both teams absolutely up for this one. Clay Webb charges forward, but met once again by a strong Bradford defence. Down the middle, King Booney Ayua gets his second drive, but a nice offload. Rovers looked, Danny Addy looked like he's got away with one there, I think. Bailey O'Connor, though, gets the ball. Oh, he's not quite got it. Connor in the go through the line, and here he is. He's in for a try. Featherstone Rovers score a try. Down this left side, but some players coming together, though, on the edges. I don't think the referee's given the try yet. Players coming together. I will explain what happened in just a second. So Featherstone Rovers break through the line with a kick through. Regathers a kick and a pass back on the inside by Bailey O'Connor to Connor Wynn. Sees him come cross field, and a pass to Glover, who's in support, who does go in and score a try. I don't think the referee's given the try yet, though, as players have come together. Don't know what happened. I followed the ball, I'm not going to lie, but something's happened in back play, and the players have come together. And now the referee and the touch judge are having a little bit of a discussion over what went on and what happened. The time's gone off. The touch judge is explaining what he's seen to the referee. Not sure what he's seen or what he's not seen, or if this is going to have any indication on the try. I don't think he's given the try yet. You're as confused as I am at home, by the way. It's over on the opposite side of the field. The referee has said no try, given a penalty for a Rovers off the ball. The Bradford fans, of course, happy about that one, but Brad Day is pleading innocence with the referee of what's gone on. I don't think nobody can quite understand. I think everybody's a little bit confused, but the referee doesn't go over and give the try for Rovers, but goes back to the opposite side of the field, gives a penalty to Bradford 10 metres out, and he says for punching. If that's not happened before the try, then I don't understand that one. But anyway, we go on. Bradford get a penalty, and now Rovers are defending. 17 minutes to go. That could bring the crowd involved into this game. Rovers look all offside there, but the referee doesn't give the penalty. The Bradford fans shouting, "Come on, you Bulls!" And Eben Skur now giving a push and shove at the play of the ball. Rovers, though, turn away and crack on with the defending. Bradford now, this will be unlucky if they go down the other end and score. They nearly break through the line, but great last-ditch attempt by Glover to tackle the Bradford player. Ball going across the left of the field. Pass on the inside, but Glover's there again. He's doing some great rugby, great tackling by Glover, and he gets... he makes the Bradford player knock on as well. So that's an added bonus then for Rovers. You can tell the atmosphere is tense here at Odsal. Featherstone Rovers 2, Bradford Bulls 6. 16 minutes to go, just over, in this first half. Probably a lot closer than some people are thinking when they looked at the team sheets this evening. But we will see how this one ends up. FRTV Live with me, Jaffa. Rovers then feed the scrum. Rovers' arms go in the air for a headshot, but not given by the referee. Here comes Hardcastle. Turns his back in defence, looks for an offload, but doesn't quite get it. Bradford defence up very quickly there. Good drive down the middle, settler by King Vuniayawa. Here now, Danny Addy looks up for a 40-20, but kicks it right between Tafua and Hooley. Turns them round, and a great chase. A blue wall, hit by a blue wall there, 20 metres out from his own line. How long can this intensity go on here this evening at Bartercard Odsal? King Vuniayawa tackles Ockenbaugh. Interchanges for Bradford balls there, freshening things up. Scruton on now for Zane Musgrove. Gets an offload in his first attack of the game since coming on. Plays the ball, comes out to the right. Meadows puts it up in the air. Knock on though, given by the referee. And a turnover 10 metres out from the Rovers line. Rovers feels a little bit like Rovers have got to battle very hard now to stay in this one here in the first half. Two big props coming on for Bradford in Chris Hill and of course Zane Musgrove. Rovers look like they're going to be freshening things up as well. It looks like some movement on the bench for Rovers as well. I'll let you know when that one does happen. Rovers then coming forward with Hardcastle. Once again getting his hands on the ball a lot tonight is Josh Hardcastle. Maybe making up for lost time on Sunday. Here comes Connor Wynn. The dancing feet gets tackled. He's trying to get up to play the ball, but very slow once again, play the ball. Caleb Akins takes the ball forward to halfway. It's the last. Danny Addy looks for Bailey O'Connor. Bailey O'Connor puts his boot through the ball once again, but Hooley looks like he's taking this one at the back. He does. A couple of metres away from his own line, but met well by the Rovers defence. And they're 10 metres out from their own line, starting the set. Once again, great drive there, though, by Tafua, who comes in from that left wing. He's like a forward running at the pack here today. Scooter looks, jumps out a dummy half, tries getting the Rovers on the back foot, but not happening. Here comes Musgrove. Chris Hill now looks like he's lining for the next one. Oh no, he's just going to be the... kicks the ball. The referee's happy. A kick through from Bradford. Hooley absolutely gets whacked there by Danny Addy, but the referee says it's fair game. The Bradford fans not happy, of course, with that one, but the referee doesn't give anything. So Rovers back in possession, 40 out from their own line. Here comes Hardcastle once again. Bailey O'Connor now jumping in at dummy half. Chris Hill getting up and having a push and a shove. It's turning into one of those games where the referee's got to get a grip of it, because there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on out there, and the players will run out of patience eventually with that. Rovers then on the last, 40 away from the Bradford line. Very scrappy play the ball once again. Glover, though, this time puts his foot through the ball. And a good chase. But Bradford let the ball bounce. Oh, luckily bounces into a Bradford player. Big hit by Rovers. Danny Addy once again. Again, the Bradford Bulls fans not happy with that tackle. Looked all right from where I'm sat. Quick play the ball there by Bradford on the left. But they managed to get the Bradford player tackled. As you can hear, the Bulls fans not very happy around us, but the referee is the one with the whistle. And to me, I think he got that one right. Bradford, they nearly break the line down that left. Last tackle into the Rovers half. Ball goes to Meadows, who puts his foot through the ball. Caleb Aiken, safe as houses at the back though, takes it well and brings the ball to the middle of the field. Now carries on down the left side. Ockenbaugh dragging Caleb Aiken's back. So Rovers play the ball just a couple away from their own line. The Bradford defence up very quick once again. Here comes Clay Webb. Big defence by Bradford, helped by the Rovers though. Clay Webb gets tackled 10 out from his own line. It's a big set is this one. Bradford trying to ramp it up in defence. Here comes Wild down the middle. Nice settler for Rovers. On the last though, only 20 away from their own line. Glover puts his boot through the ball. Straight into the hands of George Tafua, who drives the ball back and gets tackled just short of halfway for Bradford. Scruter jumps out of dummy half once again, trying to make things a bit faster for Bradford. Here comes Lawrence. Drop off to Musgrove, but wrapped up well by King Vuniyayawa. Comes out to the right once again. Lawrence, now switch of direction by Meadows. Bradford taking dancing feet by Tom Holmes, but gets wrapped up once again by Clay Webb. Scooter jumps out of dummy half, and it looks like he's got through, has he? Ockenbaugh, he gets the ball out to Ockenbaugh. Ockenbaugh, the upper body strength, takes over two Rovers defenders over the try line, and Ockenbaugh scores once again on the right side for the Bradford Bulls. It felt like it's been coming for a while. Danny Addy doesn't look happy with something in the background. Not sure what it is. Zane Musgrove and Danny Addy having the word. Michael Lawrence being the calm influence and trying to calm things down. This one is given though, not like the other side where something happened in the background and Rovers didn't get the try. This one's being given. Ockenbaugh, once again, big upper body strength by Ockenbaugh, taking over two Rovers defenders over the line. Credit where it's due though, big upper body strength, and gets that try. Bradford Bulls 10, Featherstone Rovers 2 here in the Betfred Championship Playoff. Looks like Hooley has now got the kicking tee since Lilly has gone off for his stint on the sidelines. Referee puts time off once again. Taking his time here is Hooley. 7 minutes left. The Bulls fans start singing "Come on you Bulls" once again. Kick about 2 or 3 meters in from this right touchline. Strikes it and goes straight between the uprights. Hooley kicks the conversion. That's Bradford 12. Featherstone Rovers 2 here at Bartercard Odsal. Both tried by Jaden Ockenbaugh on this right edge. Lilly kicking one, and Hooley kicking the other goal. So, Featherstone Rovers 2, Bradford Bulls 12. 7 minutes to go before half-time. Very end-to-end game so far as this one, but the Bradford Bulls making it count when they need to and getting those points on the board. Rovers then getting our game back underway here. Foot through the ball, takes it on the full. Does Meadows, and Musgrove comes off the back fence and put onto his backside. Akawula is on for Rovers now. Met well by Clay Webb, the Bradford player. Very slow play the ball for Bradford. Chris Hill now takes a charge down the middle. Once again, Akawula in that tackle with Jimmy Beckett. Wild is the guy who's come off for Akawula. Can Rovers hold out till half-time? I think be pretty happy with Cookie going in at this score. They'd rather have our points on the board as well, but big up and under then from Bradford Bulls. Featherstone allow the ball to bounce, but Caleb Akins gets the ball 20 metres or so out from the Rovers line and gets it to the 30. Addy at dummy half. Here comes Gale. Down the middle. I think I might have to put my coat on for the second half. It's dropped a little bit cooler here, and there's a bit of a breeze started at Odsal. I don't think it's ever been warm when I've been here anyway. Rovers then. Taking the ball down the middle once again. Akawula now on the charge. Gets it into the Bradford half. Fighting to play the ball. Danny Addy does a little dummy out of dummy half and goes down the middle. Beckett now doing a stint down the middle once again. Charging forward. 25 away from the Bradford line. Last tackle. Glover runs onto the ball. Tries a fast little chip through. Bouncing about on the floor. And, Rovers turn Bradford over in the corner. Paul Cook will be happy with that one. As Bradford have to bring the ball out then from their own try line. Glover playing at halfback this evening and getting through a lot of defensive work, a lot of work with his hands on the ball. The fight and determination by this Rovers team will always be there. Bradford having to succumb to the tackle because the Bradford man got the run all wrong. Here comes Musgrove. Ooh, nearly had an offload there, but wrapped up well by Rovers. Last tackle. Kicks the ball straight down the middle of the field. Connor Wynn tries to take the ball on the full, but loses the ball on the floor. He looks at the referee as if to say, that I didn't, sir, but sorry, Connor, you did. He definitely lost that one on the floor, I'm afraid. I could see it definitely from where I am here in the stand. So Bradford are going to be getting another set with 4 minutes to go. Just 25 away from the Rovers try line to take the scrum into the middle of the field. Looks like Brad Day's getting some dealt with a cut or something. He seems to be rubbing his head with the physio. Yeah, the referee's saying, nope, you've got blood coming out. You need to go and get your head sorted. Oh, no, he's got a new shirt. He needs a new shirt, he said. So, new shirt time for Brad Day. And here we go. Time's going to come back on with about 3.5 minutes left. Brad Day gets a new shirt out, puts it on. And we're ready to go again. 25 out then. Bradford on the attack. Knock on by Connor Wynn. Comes out to the right. Meadows takes on the line. Wacker Blake. Great tackle though round the ankles by Josh Hardcastle. Tip-off ball to Musgrove down the middle. Scooter in at dummy half for Bradford. Ball to Meadows in the middle, who takes on the line, but met well there by King Vuniayua. Bradford are prowling the Rovers line. Comes to Lawrence, just under the post. A Rovers player falls off to play the ball, but luckily the rest of the boys are there to help. Goes down the left, Bradday shoots out the line. Just tackles, the last tackle now for Bradford. Just 5 meters away. Comes out back. Not very organised that one, but it looks like it's coming down this right side. Whacker Blake tries an offload. And it's just throwing the ball about now at Bradford. And is this going to be a back to one? It's still the last, the referee says. I thought the Rovers player played at that, but we'll go with it. We'll take it. And a bit of a scrappy end to the last tackle, but a bit frantic to be fair. But the Rovers players defend well and get the ball back here. Just before half time, about 2 minutes left of this first half at Bartercard Odsal. It's currently FRTV Live with me, Jaffa. Bradford Bulls 12, Featherstone Rovers 2. Rovers then bringing the ball out from their own line with a good drive down the middle by King Vuniayua. Slow play the ball. Glover, tip-off ball to Clay Webb, who comes back on the angle. Rovers throwing lots of angles tonight at Bradford, trying to take them on down the middle of the field. I suppose that's what you do, though, when you've got unrecognised halfbacks in your team. Bailey O'Connor puts his boot through the ball, but well taken at the back by George Tafua. So then we're probably into the last set or two of this first half. The referee gives a penalty to Bradford for Rovers being offside. The Rovers need to hang on here and keep it to 12. Penalty kick to touch gets Bradford a good 30 metres downfield. Blake taps the ball. Chris Hill looks like he's driving down the middle, but the power pass goes out the back to Lawrence. Rovers defending the line once again. A very slow play the ball. Hill down the middle, offload once again. Got to wrap them offloads up. Here comes Meadows. Met well by Brad Day. Bradford come down the middle once again with Musgrove. 10 out from the Rovers line. Not long to go now here in this. There's the half-time hooter. And he attempts to drop goal and misses. And that's half-time here at Bartercard Odsal. The players are absolutely trying their heart out here against a big Bradford team. Half-time score, Featherstone Rovers 2, Bradford Bulls 12. Summarising that first half then, very, very big start, end-to-end stuff at the beginning when Rovers decided to take and get that scoreboard ticking over with a penalty goal through Danny Addy. Then come on the big boys for Bradford down the middle, and the last sort of 10-15 minutes has been a lot played in the Featherstone half of the field. Great defence by Rovers at times, but on 2 occasions the Rovers were opened up on that right edge by great upper body strength. You can't say nothing else, and don't take anything away from the Bradford players there. Good tries down that right edge by Ockenbaugh. He scored 2. Lilly kicked 1 goal. Hooley kicked the other. It's currently half-time here at Bartercard Odsal in the Betfred Championship Playoffs. Bradford Bulls 12, Featherstone Rovers 2. I'll be back with you very soon with all the second half. Welcome back to FRTV Live with me, Jaffa, for this Betfred Championship Playoff. Second half, it's Bartercard Odsal under the lights on a Friday night. Featherstone Rovers trailing the Bradford Bulls 12 points to 2. Bradford, the first back out on the field, and now coming out in the blue and white are your Featherstone Rovers. Featherstone Rovers trailing at half-time. Big effort from the boys in that first half against a massive Bradford pack this evening. And Bradford, just a couple of offloads. That's the only thing that's got their 2 tries in that first half. That'll give the Rovers some confidence. Stop those offloads and potentially stop those tries, of course. It's knockout rugby league, so this could be the last 40 of the season. Then again, it could be a stepping stone to a game next week that if Rovers won this one, they would be away once again. Where that would be, no one knows quite yet. Anyway, here we go. The other semi-final is currently ongoing at the moment as well. I'm being told that the Halifax Panthers are beating Oldham in that one. So, right then, Bradford get us underway then in this second half. Daryl Alfords takes the ball, and here comes King Rooney Ayua from the back fence, driving the ball in very quickly. Here's Akawula now. Ball in one hand in his style, of course. Takes the ball to the Bradford players. Stays upright in the tackle. Addy at dummy half. Playing at hooker this evening. No Job. No Jones. No Ben Reynolds, of course, in the halves. No Rocky Hampshire. Rovers doing it tough. Down to the bare bones for this playoff game. But as Paul Cook said in the week, this team entering the field will give their all, and that's what they're doing this evening. Danny Addy jumps out from dummy half, kicks the ball, but it goes straight down the throat of Luke Hooley, who brings the ball back to the Rovers' defence. Ockenbaugh. Sorry, no, that's Tafua now comes in. Both got very similar hairstyles, and from a distance. This one's Ockenbaugh, bringing the ball in. Clay Webb met well by Clay Webb. And Jimmy Beckett wrapping round at the ankles. He was uncertain up to yesterday whether he was going to be playing in this one. He's done some good minutes up to now, Jimmy Beckett. Bradford then into the Rovers half of the field. Ball out this side to Kieran Gill, who gets wrapped up well by Rovers. Last tackle, Bradford 30 out. Scruter to Meadows, puts his foot through the ball, up high in the Bradford night sky, and taken really well there by that was taken well there, sorry, by Daryl Alfords. Here comes Glover. Now Hardcastle with his hands on the ball once again. Both teams going set for set once again in the start of this second half. Bailey O'Connor in at dummy half this time. And King Vuniayu are met well by Michael Lawrence, the, of course, veteran front rower. Played a lot of his career at Huddersfield Giants, now here at the Bradford Bulls. Gareth Gale comes on a drop-off ball from O'Connor. O'Connor's pointing to go left. It goes out back to Akins, who takes on the line and puts his foot through the ball. Alfords chasing the ball, but well taken at the back there by Bradford Bulls. That's Ockenbaugh. A loose pass, though, down the middle, but luckily for Bradford, manages to get his hands on the ball. He had to dive for it. Here comes Wacker Blake now. Well met by the Rovers defence on that left side. Clay Webb, Akins. Connor Wynn now takes the ball down the middle. He's got to go down because he went behind a Rovers player. Pushes off the Bradford defender. Here comes Hardcastle once again. Plays the ball. Addy at dummy half. Clay Webb on the charge. Takes it to halfway. Can Rovers do anything with this ball? Couple of tackles left up the sleeve. Here comes the Rovers down the right. Drop-off play once again. I said in the first half, lots of angles by Rovers today. That's another one by Gareth Gale. Addy down the middle to Beckett. Beckett charges down the middle. He's been great for Rovers this year as Jimmy Beckett. He's had a great season. Of course, Featherstone, local lad. On the last tackle, Rovers choose to run the ball. Bailey O'Connor gets his foot to the ball, kicks it, a little dummy, and I thought he got that then and dived over, but he didn't. Luckily for Bradford, George Tafua was there to wrap up the ball. King Vuniayua, big shot though on the Bradford player. Here comes Tafua. Met well by Beckett down that middle. Danny Addy and Beckett in the tackle. This time it's Ockenbaugh. Met well by Clay Webb. Akawula in the tackle again. Meeting and taking on the Bradford forwards. But a quick play of the ball by Bradford. Sees Scooter jump from dummy half. But again, good defence by Rovers. Keeping Bradford this time in their own half of the field. A kick coming in from Tom Holmes. Great take at the back by Caleb Akins, but met well by Bradford Bulls. Solid white, red and yellow wall there, meeting Caleb Akins. Here, driving down the middle then. Is that Wild who's back on? No, it's Hardcastle once again. Do you know what? He's got through a lot of work today as Josh Hardcastle. Here comes King Vuniayua. We said it the other week in Doncaster. Can he become the king of Doncaster? And he scored. Can he become the king of Bradford this evening? Akins in the line then. Passes the ball to Glover. Drop off to Olferts. Olferts tries going out the right-hand side. Gaz Gale, though, gets wrapped up by the Bradford defence. Jordan Williams now coming on for Rovers. Akawula through, sorry, I thought it was Akawula through the middle. It wasn't. It was Danny Addy and Akawula not on the same page, but Akawula jumps in at dummy half. Not seeing him at hooker. Here comes King Vuniayua, takes on the line. Must be the last. It is. The referee puts his hand in the air. It's the last tackle, 2 away from the Bradford line. Can Rovers do anything? Caleb Akins with some dancing feet, but gets tackled and turns Bradford over. Just 2 meters away from their own line. Good set by Featherstone Rovers, but equally met in defence by Bradford. And Bradford get us back underway, but shooting out the line there is Jordan Williams. Of course, signed for Wakefield Trinity for next season in the Super League. Playing for Rovers this evening. Hopefully it won't be his last, but you never know. Plays the ball, the Bradford players. Great hit there by Akawula. Absolutely smashes the Bradford player. Scooter jumps from dummy half. Gives it to Gill on this left side. Met well by Bailey O'Connor. Slammed to the ground. You can hear Kean in the background getting inside. There's only us fans in this little bit here, but he's giving it some here on social media. Wacker Blake, though, goes down the right edge, but well ankle tap there by Josh Hardcastle. Kicks the ball to the corner. It looks like that's far too strong. It is, and it goes dead in goal. So Featherstone Rovers get a 6-tackle set. Glover looks like he took a little bit of a knock there, but he's up back on his feet. Robson Stevens comes on the field now for Akawula, and also King Vuniayua. Looks like he's taken a rest as well. Trying to see who's come on for King. Not sure who's come on there for King. Anyway, the PA man might tell us. Here come Rovers then. Robson Stevens. Bass out back. Play to Brad Day, taking the ball in. Here comes Williams down the middle. Big bench for Rovers this afternoon, going with 4 props. I think that's the only players they've got available, but they've done it. Here comes Rovers down that left with Glover. Gets tackled. It is Nathan Wild who's returned to the field for King Vuniayua. Good crossfield kick then there. Gasgale jumps up for the ball, knocks it backwards. Well, the referee says he's knocked it forward, and it's going to be a changeover on the 10 for the Bradford Bulls. Zane Musgrove telling his Bradford players to keep nice and calm. Rovers then. Still in this one with 30 minutes to go. Bradford Rovers pick up the Bradford player and drive him back into the ground. Rovers searching a mistake by Bradford. Here comes Ockenbaugh. Met by 4 Rovers players. Plays the ball. Now to Fua. Oh no, it's Musgrove, sorry. Rovers getting through some defensive work early in this second. Chris Hill now takes the ball to the middle. Met well by Robson Stevens. Plays the ball, stretches out his calves. And Rovers keep Bradford penned on the halfway line on the last. And the ball goes to Meadows and up in the night sky once again. And Daryl Alforts takes the ball under not much pressure and goes across field, but gets tackled by the Bradford players in the defensive line. Here comes the dancing feet of Connor Wynn. Like I said earlier, on his 100th career appearance today, Connor Wynn. Congratulations to him. Chris Hill has his hand in the play of the ball. Makes it slower. Referee gives a penalty to Rovers for a high shot on Josh Hardcastle. Michael Lawrence going too high. Referee not happy. Gives the penalty to Rovers. Can Rovers make Bradford pay? Kicks the ball to touch, does Danny Addy. Gets into the Bradford half of the field. 45 away. FRTV Live with me, Jaffa. Featherstone Rovers 2, Bradford Bulls 12. Robson Stevens then on the drop-off. Takes it to the 40. Danny Addy's pointing left, pointing right, and he goes right. To Akins. Great charge by Williams up the middle. Addy at dummy half again. Goes left to Wild, who goes forward, just one way forward, that's all he knows. Addy taking charge at hooker. No recognised hooker for Rovers this afternoon. And here comes Akins down the right. Little dummy. Nearly breaks the Bradford defence. 5 away now from the Bradford line. 2 to go. Ball back to Danny Addy. Very slow though to Jordan Williams. But a good pass. Now the last. Rovers just 5 away from the Bradford line. Can they get some points on the board early in this second half? Here comes Robson Stevens on the charge. But met well by Bradford Bulls, and Robson Stevens gets tackled in possession. Just 2 away from the Bradford line. And now it's a changeover. Rovers can't afford to give any penalties away here if they want to carry on playing in the playoffs in 2025. Hunting that mistake again in defence. Plays the ball to Bradford. Here comes Tafua once again. Great leg drive. Carrying 3 Rovers men forwards. Little hop, skip and a jump and an offload for Bradford. Takes the ball forward. And another offload to Scooter. Got to stop those offloads, Rovers. We said that in that first half. The 2 tries have already come from offloads and a dummy out back. But just wrapped up. Couple of tackles in the back still for Bradford. 15 away from the Rovers line. Ball comes out to the left. Little puts the ball onto the foot. The ball's bouncing around. Looks like Bradford could have scored the try. They have scored the try. George Tafua, a little chip through the line by Tom Holmes, puts it on the end of his toe and bouncing around. Rovers failed to deal with it, and George Tafua, the ball just bounced up into his hands. Looks where he was very close to that dead ball line, but the referee was very close to it and said, nope, that's all good. And Bradford Bulls score through number 23, George Tafua. 25 minutes left. That one could be the one that ends this season, should I say, for Featherstone Rovers. It'd be a big, big comeback now here at Bartercard Odsal, should Rovers take anything from today's game. George Tafua then extending the Bradford lead right underneath the posts. It looks like Hooley is going to be taking the conversion. He'll probably add the 2 in just a second, which will put Bradford, of course, 3 tries in front this evening here at Odsal. Rovers was hunting the mistake in defence. And the break down the middle once again on the back of 2 offloads sees Bradford go and score a try. So the 3 tries coming from the 2 Bradford wingers this afternoon, but this one was right underneath the sticks as the ball bounced from a kick, and Hooley lines up the conversion, and he's going to be making it. Yep, there he goes. Bradford Bulls 18, Featherstone Rovers 2. It's me, Jaffa, on FRTV Live this evening from Bradford. Thanks very much if you're listening in on the Rovers YouTube channel. If you're listening on the Rovers YouTube channel this evening, Connor Grace, who normally sits with me, he's on holiday, so I'm here all by myself this evening. But Bradford now take the lead. I just hope the Rovers can stick this one out. They've played the hearts out of the boys, down to the bare bones, coming to Bradford in this quarter-final of the playoffs and giving it their all for the blue wall this evening. Bradford now bring the ball back from the kickoff. First few sets and Bradford still in their own half. Here's Chris Hill, passes out the back, offload, a pass on the inside there to the Bradford second row, Matty G. Bradford into the Rovers half on the last. Quick play the ball by Scooter. Meadows puts the ball up into the night sky. Wacker Blake looks like he wants it. He does go for the ball, but knocks the ball forward. And the referee gives a turnover. 20 metres out from the Rovers line. The Rovers are going to have to score very soon. Just 22 minutes to go on the clock here at Odsal this evening. They'll need to get points on the board soon if they are to be in with a chance of progressing. Knockout Rugby League, Betfred Championship Playoffs 2025 getting underway. Connor Wynn getting up, not happy with the referee for not giving a penalty there. Rovers looking to get back into this game. No halves, no hookers, but they are playing so well against a very, very strong Bradford team this evening. Here comes Robson Stevens down the middle. Great to see Robson back after a bit of an injury hit season this year. Last tackle, 35 out. Bailey O'Connor puts his boot through the ball. Good chase by Featherstone Rovers into the corner. The Bradford player dives to the ground and surrenders to the tackle, but turning Bradford around in their own couple of metres away from their own line. Paul Cook will be happy with that one. Bradford play the ball. Here comes Waka Blake. Met well and wrapped up by Featherstone Rovers. FRTV live with me, Jaffa. Bradford Bulls 18, Featherstone Rovers 2. Bradford bringing the ball down the middle. The big lads of Bradford. Here comes Chris Hill. Takes him over halfway. Last tackle for Bradford. Comes this side. This time to Tom Holmes, who puts the ball in the air again. Well took by Connor Wynn, who's dancing across the field. But met well by Bradford. Kicking and screaming to try and get up to play the ball, and gets the penalty on this occasion. But once again, a penalty just 12 away from the Rovers line. Will this help Featherstone Rovers get into the game again here this evening? Have we got one more charge to the final whistle? We all know what happened on Sunday. Literally the last 7 minutes of the game totally changed the game. Anything can happen in a game of rugby league, especially playoff rugby league. Rovers then tap the ball. Here comes Clay Webb. A standout player for Rovers this season, Clay Webb. Absolutely outstanding in, week out, and probably one of the first names on the team sheet. Robson Stevens gets absolutely whacked, but gets off the offload. Fantastic offload by Robson Stevens. Rovers going down that left. Step on the inside there by even the Bradford player. Stopped because he hit him around the chops, but the referee didn't. Rovers then coming back to the middle. Drop off play with Williams. Danny Addy looking left. Goes left. Here comes Glover. Little chip over the top, but bounces back into the Rovers' hands. Here comes Danny Addy down the middle. Sees a gap. And he's not given back to one there, the referee. That's unusual. Comes out to the right-hand side. Here's Bailey O'Connor. Passes the ball out wide. There's Gaz Gale spinning off the tackle. It's the last. Are we going to the post, or are we going over to the corner? You'll see. Here's Caleb Akins. A little chip under the post. On the floor. Bounces off the upright, but bounces. That's the luck of Rovers at the back end of this season. That's one of those. Bounced off the post and bounces into a Bradford hand as the Rovers players were all charging forward. That is the Rovers' luck this evening. Anyway. Well brought out, though, by Bradford on tackle number 1. That would have been game back on here this evening with 18 minutes to go. But the bounce of the ball just didn't go the way of the Rovers. Bradford get a penalty. I think that was Clay Webb lifting the Bradford player's foot, George Tafua. And they get a penalty 20 metres away from their own line. And a big kick into the Rovers onto halfway. Gets the pressure released. So Bradford now have a full set in the Rovers half. Waka Blake taps the ball, gives it to Meadows. Here comes Skur. Looking for an offload, but this time wrapped up well by Danny Addy. Pulling him back into the play the ball. Good tackle once again by Rovers. Coming down the blind side with Hooley and with Tom Holmes. Plays the ball. Tip on. Straight down the middle there. That's Elliot Paposhian off the bench. Scooter to Holmes. Inside ball. Bradford look like they've scored once again. They certainly have. This time not an offload, just a good piece of rugby league. Ball back on the inside for the Bradford Bulls. Sees Bradford go over once again for a try. Evans Skur coming back on the field. He just come back on in that last set for Chris Hill. Taken 2 drives in the set and that one, just the ball back on the inside by the Bradford Bulls. Bradford player in the right place at the right time. And a try for Bradford. That certainly does, I think, put an end to the Featherstone Rovers season for 2025. This evening, the players putting in such a great effort with 15 minutes to go. Down to the bare bones, Paul Cook and Jed and Ian. The team have done absolutely amazing just to get out there on the field this evening. I was at training last night, and yeah, big effort by the boys. Going through the pain as well to be out for you, the Featherstone Rovers army, this weekend. But it looks like the Bradford Bulls are going to be progressing this evening into the semi-final of the Betfred Championship Playoffs. Be interesting to see who they will play in the next round. It may even be a trip to the south of France. You never know. All will be revealed in the coming weeks in the Betfred Championship. Hooley is lining up the conversion. Halfway between the touchline and the post, and he puts that through the posts. Bradford Bulls 24, Featherstone Rovers 2. Bradford just too big and too strong in this second half for a depleted Rovers team. Going back to the beginning of this year, though, after the start of the season that Rovers had, did we expect to be in the playoffs? Probably not. Are we here? Yes, we are. As Paul Cook and his team and the boys done a great job this year to turn it round. 100% they have. Kickoff by Rovers. It's a freak one, and it's bounced and gone into touch. So Featherstone Rovers receiving the ball back 10 metres out from the Bradford line. That is probably Bradford Bulls switching off a little bit there. Great kickoff, though, by Danny Addy. And Rovers now in possession, 10 out with 5 tackles to go. Here we go. Can Rovers get some points on the board? Here comes Robson Stevens. Met well by Bradford. Danny Addy at dummy half. Not a usual half. Hooker, Danny Addy, of course. Bailey O'Connor out back to Akins, to Clay Webb. Met well, though, by Bradford. And taken to the ground by 5 Bradford men. But on this field, that doesn't really give you an overlap unlike some other fields. Goes out the back to Akins. Akins to Wild. Wild gets tackled in the middle of the field. 3 tackles left for Rovers. This time we go left once again. Glover, little tip on ball to Clay Webb. Is he? Oh, I thought he was going to break the line and get over there. Tackled just short of the line. Clay Webb plays the ball. Ball comes out to Akins. Akins taking on the line. Here comes Bailey O'Connor with a pass out wide. You can tell there Bailey O'Connor is not a halfback. He tried playing an amazing pass. If that had come off, it would have been fantastic to Connor win. But instead, the ball goes into touch. And Rovers leave some more points out there this evening. Bradford then bringing the ball out from their own line. 12 minutes to go. FRTV Live. If you've enjoyed the coverage this year, thank you very much for joining us on the audio-only away commentary on FRTV. Thanks very much to all the fans in 2025. It's been a typical Featherstone Rovers roller coaster, but you, the fans, are the heart of this club. And of course, we thank you, everyone who's been listening in on our social media channels this year, and of course on FRTV Live. Musgrove then down the middle of the park for Bradford. Looks for an offload, but wrapped up well by the Rovers defence into the Featherstone half. That's got to be forward, but nothing given by the referee. Scooter looking for another offload. He's shouting at Hallas, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball, but he says no. Musgrove down the middle. Meadows puts the ball on his foot. Bradford jump up and pass the ball backward, but Wacker Blake gets tackled into touch by James Glover. And it's going to be a handover to Rovers in the middle of the field. Bradford balls 24, Featherstone Rovers 2. Valiant effort by Featherstone Rovers this evening here under the lights at Bartercard Odsal. Here comes once again, he's got his hands on the ball, Josh Hardcastle. When we're thinking men of the match or people who have stood up and countered, Josh Hardcastle's absolutely run his blood to water today. Fantastic effort by Josh and the team here this evening. Here comes Williams down the middle. Looking more and more likely this will be his last game in a Featherstone Rovers shirt this year. Akawula looks like he's getting ready to come back on the field. Bailey O'Connor tries taking on the Bradford line, but unfortunately gets his ankles wrapped. Danny Addy passes on the inside. Here goes Gaz Gale. He tries a little chip and chase himself, and he kicks the ball forward. Glover gets the ball, and he's going out to the left. Can he get an offload? He does get an offload,